All right. Here's one I find hard to believe.
Okay.
I can't even imagine being duped this way.
Okay.
But apparently it happens. I'm assuming it happens if you believe, what I'm going to read here.
Okay.
A bearded gay man, 33, tricked 4 straight men into sex.
Oh, stop.
After posing as a woman on a dating app, including Tinder.
He had a beard?
Well, let's find out what's going on here.
All right.
A bearded gay man tricked 4 straight men into sex by posing as a woman on Tinder and other dating apps. Duarte Xavier, 33, told victims he would meet for sex in parks or at his house if they were... See, here's the thing. This goes back to the other story. If they wore a blindfold. What guy or girl says, yeah, before I lay eyes on you, I'll put a blindfold on?
Yeah, you have to be fucking really horny and really desperate to go that route. I can't imagine ever doing that. No.
I mean,
right.
that was almost the same situation as that girl who was pretending she was a guy.
Right. And
had that relationship with that girl and always said that she had to wear a blindfold.
Mm-hmm.
Who agrees to that?
I'm going to say, you said there's 4 people that got duped by this?
Yeah, 4 dudes.
If you add their IQs together, does not equal 200. No fucking way. Come on.
But again, what guy goes, I'm going to go meet this chick, but she wants me to wear a blindfold? I said, yeah, man, I'm all in.
Yeah, no. That's why we need these brothels. You say, no, I'm not going to bother with that. I'll just go fuck a doll.
Right.
I can look at her.
One man claims he only realized he was having sex with a man when he lifted the blindfold out of curiosity.
Jesus Christ! And what? Saw a big strapping cock? What was happening? He was getting his dick sucked?
I don't know. It doesn't say what was going on. It just said an encounter.
Well, if it was anything other than getting his dick sucked, I doubt he needed to lift the blindfold to figure it out. Right?
I guess.
I mean, otherwise he'd be getting fucked in the ass or fucked in the mouth.
Or he was fucking the guy in the ass.
Yeah, I guess that could be too.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Another claimed Xavier sounded feminine when they arranged to meet in a park before the pair had sex. The alleged victim, who called police, told Kingston Crown Court he matched a good-looking woman called Anna on the dating app who promised sex if he wore a blindfold.
So did he put a fake picture up?
Well, he used a fake picture on the dating app. Yeah, of course.
Because I was trying to calculate the beard. But the beard is that they would never see the beard because they're blindfolded.
Right, but at what point do you put a blindfold on? Okay, I'm ready.
Yeah, all right. I'm not going to kiss you at all because I might feel that fucking thick goddamn ZZ Top fucking on your face. Yeah.
They met at Xavier's house where the man put on a blindfold before Xavier emerged, and they had sex. Now, what qualifies as sex?
I'd imagine at least a blowjob,
yeah,
right?
But before they had sex, it says.
I just can't imagine. I wouldn't let somebody into my house that I didn't know with a blindfold on me.
Yeah, I know.
That's fucking ridiculous.
It's just amazing to me that anybody would even do this.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I watched the mail guy come up to my house, and I generally don't open the door. Let alone some guy fucking that wants to fuck.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put a blindfold on? Fuck no. It's ridiculous.
Described how he felt pissed off when he took off the mask, and the man said, "I saw this man with a beard." My reaction was I slapped this man in the face once or twice, and I said, "Why didn't you tell me the truth?"
He was getting his dick sucked
He
by
was,
this
he
guy.
slapped him in the face.
This guy was sucking his dick, and he pulled the mat. I'm picturing it now. He's laying there. He's got his head on a pillow. He's got it. He probably had the blindfold on and maybe slid his hand on top of this other guy's head. It was like, oh yeah, babe. And he's like kind of reached around and felt a fucking beard and fucking popped the thing up and then slapped him. Yuck. That's what it has to be.
Jurors were told Xavier matched the man on the Lavoo. It's Lovoo app.
Lavoo.
Lavoo. Lovoo.
Looking that one up. I don't know that one.
I don't either.
Can't really see much.
Lovoo.
The app with a heart.
Okay.
The app that changes with you.
Okay.
The app that you curse today and download into your phone again tomorrow.
Yeah, because you might meet a guy with a beard.
Yeah, because you might get your dick sucked by a fucking dude.
Jurors were told Xavier matched a man on the Lavoo app before the pair exchanged more messages on WhatsApp.
Oh, WhatsApp, nice.
Yeah. Another.
This is all alternative, isn't it? No Twitter, no Facebook.
I don't know anything about this bullshit. Another victim placed advertisements on Craigslist where Xavier struck up a sexual conversation and pushed things toward a meeting at his house.
Yeah.
Xavier refused to send pictures, would not show his face on a video call, and put on a voice that sounded like a Spanish lady.
Yeah.
When the men arrived at the house, the door was left ajar, and he made his way upstairs where he was assaulted. He was assaulted.
Assaulted?
So if some chick just says, yeah, come to my house, the door will be open, come on upstairs, would you do that? Somebody you never met before?
Nah, probably not.
I would never do that. No fucking way.
When I was younger, I might, but not now. And honestly, I think the reason I wouldn't now is because I'm more worried about lawsuits than anything else. You can't really. How do you prove that you didn't fucking rape somebody?
Of course.
When you're by yourself at this point and you don't know the person, how do you prove anything?
Yeah, but what makes you even think you want to get physically involved with someone you never even met?
Oh, I've done that in the past, but again, when I was young,
me, that's just like, oof, no way.
You never one night standed?
No, absolutely not.
Oh, yeah. Dude, that was always fun in Korea.
No way.
But I don't think I would now because there's too much lawsuits and shit.
Xavier told the victim that he was home alone and his husband was away on holiday. He said, I got to their house and the door was left unlatched. It was dark in there. A voice, the same one I had heard on the phone, called me upstairs. As I made my way upstairs, it became darker and darker. When the victim was upstairs, Xavier attempted to cover his face so that he would not be able to see him. He said, I think they tried to put a pillowcase over my face, which I took off. Xavier proceeded to undo the victim's pants to perform oral sex on him. So, yeah, you were right.
He's sucking his cock.
Yeah. The man said, with everything that was happening in the dark, I was disoriented. I was a shock.
Yeah, he wasn't, though. I've got to, look, I'm not the authority here, but I have to really assume that if somebody started blowing me and my eyes were closed, just as an example, but I felt fur fucking on both sides of my goddamn legs as my dick entered a mouth, I would know immediately it was a dude. Wouldn't you think?
You would think.
You would think immediately that if nothing else, you would think it's a girl that you really don't want sucking your cock.
The bearded lady at the circus.
Yeah, I mean, come on. This is a ridiculous fucking story here.
I agree. I became suspicious and asked if they were a man. When they stopped, and I pushed them away. Xavier tried to make the victim stay by saying, "Come on, baby." But the man pulled out his phone and saw the online. He pulled out his phone and saw the outline of a man with short hair. He said, I felt violated. It was shocking.
Boy, this guy better be thrilled that he didn't run into somebody like me that keeps a gun right next to his bed.
I ain't
gonna lie. I might shoot a motherfucker. Well, if that happened to me, I might shoot him.
Ugh. Xavier, whose profile included pictures of a woman, allegedly said, "Hi there. Hope you well. I'm recently single and just looking for a bit of fun. Be my obedient toy. WhatsApp and take it from there." But despite the alleged victim fleeing after realizing he was a man, Xavier continued to pester him for sex, sending him sad emojis. Yeah. Another victim said he was tricked into having sex in a park after falling for a fake profile and believed he was a woman. When prosecutor Timothy Forrester asked about Xavier's voice, the man told the jury, "To me, it did sound female. It sounded like an Asian origin as well." The man added he was told to go to a specific place in the park and put on a blindfold and wait.
Wow.
Boy. The man said, I think originally she was saying about it was not, The man said, I think originally she was saying about it was not practical to do it here, but I kind of insisted a bit and managed to change her mind over, boy, this is not written well, change her mind over to doing it. He admitted he had no reason to believe it was anything else but straight sex. Afterwards, he said it was her telling me about keeping the blindfold on, standing where I was, because then she was going to go and leave the vicinity before I did. It was different. I have not experienced anything like that before.
Yeah, I would hope not.
Yeah.
Jesus.
The court heard that Xavier messaged the man asking him to rate the experience from 1 to 10.
Yeah, negative 30.
Adding, I can do better.
Wow.
Jurors heard how one message sent to Xavier showed a screenshot image of his fake profile. It was joined with a message reading, I'm going to the police to report that, and I got your address. Xavier then showed regret and replied to the man by replying, sorry, we both made a mistake.
Oops.
The court heard how during another exchange, Xavier sent a different man photos of a woman with her legs open.
Well,
the man wrote in a text message, good luck, Anna. You are probably a guy or a man. This seems like a trap. Xavier replied with, I'm a guy, a full man. I'm not a transsexual. I just really like role play.
Ugh.
Xavier was arrested in April 5th of 2018. Defending Helen Butcher said that the alleged victim knew he was meeting a man and described the situation as role play. Xavier denies 6 counts of causing a person to engage in sexual activity without consent with 4 separate men.
And this is, using this app is legal, but God forbid fucking a piece of plastic. Got to protect the children from that one. Not protect actual dudes from getting their dick sucked by other dudes.
Right.
Jesus. No irony there.
No, because dude looks like a lady.
Yeah. No, he doesn't. He really doesn't. He looks like a dude.
So there you are.
Yeah, that's all right. I don't have any dating apps on my phone, and I don't think I'll be adding any. Fuck that stupid Plenty of Fish. That was the only one I was using anyway.
It's so funny.
So bad.
It is. It's terrible.
Everything about it is just horrible now. Dude, and the saddest part is that's how people hook up now. Is only with dating apps.
Yeah. I don't know anything about that bullshit.
I don't think people do anymore. Dude, even your last relationship, it wasn't a dating app, but you reconnected with Facebook.
Yeah, but it wasn't my
Indirectly.
Facebook. It was
No, but it was indirectly.
yeah, indirectly because there was no other way of contacting, I guess.
Yeah. So that person went to Facebook and made contact. You know, it's just sad. What I'm saying is that it's not like the old days where you'd meet somebody at a party or a game or a grocery store or anything anymore.
Right.
You don't meet anybody anywhere but online, it seems like, anymore.
True.
Very rarely do you meet somebody not first online. Hell, me and Kelly started hanging out because of Facebook. Same thing. You know, she was hanging out and was looking for somebody to fucking rock some Zeppelin with. So I fucking was like, hey, I'm in. And that's how that started.
Well,
same thing, but it was on Facebook. I would have never run into her again. You know, I mean, I grew up with her like eons ago, but
sure.
I would have never run into her again. No fucking way. It's just no way. And that's just a sad state of the world these days. That's the only way that we fucking meet people now. It's no wonder there's fucking 90% divorce rate or whatever it is now. Sad.
Well, I agree. All right, let's play a couple of tunes and then we'll come back and wrap up the show.
Holy fuck, are you kidding me?
Yeah, we got like 55 minutes.
Jesus, this sucker went fast.
It
Can
did
I
go.
pick a song?
You can pick a song, sure, why not?
Right? I am going to go with, and I've just had this song in my head all fucking day today. Asylum Number 9 by Wasp.
Okay.
From The Neon God Part 1.
All right. I like me some Wasp.
Yeah.
Like to see them play some shows in the States, but apparently that's probably not profitable.
Probably not. While you're looking for the song, I'm gonna answer Demon's question in the chat room. What happened to that stalker Chris had who wanted to bone him?
Yeah.
We still chat, but I just never pulled the trigger on it.
Right.
For a lot of reasons. The main one being exactly what we're talking about here. It just seemed a little weird to me.
A little sketchy.
I mean, I genuinely, because we've been talking for about a year, you know, and we're friendly, I don't think that she's like I don't think I would get there and get jumped by a bunch of fucking dudes or some shit like that. But I don't know. It just felt weird. And the weird thing, like everything else with me, I start talking and then I become more their friend than anything else. And it's like, all right, now it's not as fun anymore.
Of course not.
Now I'm friendly instead of, just wanting pussy.
Right.
So it just hasn't happened.
All right. Fair enough.
So.
All right. Well, we're going to play a little bit of Wasp here and we'll come back and we'll wrap up the show. So here it is. This one comes from the Neon God Part 1. And this is Asylum 9 exclusively here
on your classic metal show.
Hi, this is the one and only Blackie Lawless of Wasp. I listen to the classic metal show, Rock and Roll to Death.